It's about 5:30. I never know what time it is. Yes, it's 5:33. And I just wanted to come on and say howdy because I just got back from a doctor checkup. My doctor is like, "You've had a busy month." Yes, sir. I about fell apart 50 times this month. I've had a busy month. Um, I'm looking much better, I say, as I'm trying to get comfortable, and I can't get comfortable. And I thought about going live later, but I've got just enough of a headache. I might not. I don't know. Hi, Gypsy. I've had something's blooming that should not be blooming at this time of year because our seasons are mixed up. Our seasons are screwed up. And I have been having the most horrible sinus allergy headache. Just, and I know that's exactly what it is. And something is blooming, and I'm thinking it's those stupid Bradford pears. Those stupid Bradford pears. Hey, Priscilla. Hey, Cindy. Those stupid Bradford pears, they eat me alive. And everybody around here planted them for like 20 years because they were so cute. I don't know why, because every time you just look at them and think about, the Three Little Pigs story, they fall over because they don't take any wind to knock them down. But everybody here planted those suckers for 20 years. And I guess that's what's probably eating me alive right now because I never can stand those stupid things. And the older I get, the more issues I have with Bradford pear trees and some other stuff that's uh, really putting out a lot of buds and flowers right now that just shouldn't be right now. I just look at stuff and I'm like, you're going to die, and then we're going to have the latest true spring ever, and then everything's going to be behind all year. I keep looking at it every time I hear the frogs in the swamp chirping. I'm like, you're all going to freeze to death, and we're going to have another batch of you, you know. And I think how stupid the frogs are. I know that those Bradford pears are, and they're so invasive. Like, I hate invasive plants. That's why, as much as I love wisteria, I won't plant it because I know how bad it's supposed to be. There's several things that I would love to have feature wise in my yard. I won't plant them because they are so invasive. Wisteria being one of them. I love the way wisteria looks. Love it. Will not plant it. My mother-in-law snuck trumpet vines into my yard where I did not want them several years ago. And so all I do is spend every summer trying to keep those things cut back because once they decide to grow, you can't kill the darn things. I swear I've dug them out, tried to burn them out, tried to poison them, tried to salt them. You cannot kill a trumpet vine that wants to grow. Nope, you can't do it. And I don't want them anywhere else because they take over. Now they're beautiful if you put them somewhere and you can control them and you have the time and the energy to. I don't. Let's listen. I swept my porch for the first time. I don't know how long, just the other day. You think I'm going to go and trim a trumpet vine every 3 weeks? Come on now, realistic expectations, people. By the way, when I swept my porch, I thought I deserved a trophy, a participation award, a slap on the back, a check. I mean, I thought that somebody should show up and throw me a party, at least put confetti in the air or something, because I did something productive, and I hadn't done anything productive in like a month. So I felt very proud of myself. Had a little victory dance on the porch. The cats looked at me like I was stupid. I'm down to just Lux, Phantom, and Ember. All the other cats have been rehomed. Hallelujah, thank you God. They were about to drive me nuts. Lux has gotten too smart to trap. Phantom is too stupid to trap. I've got one that's too smart to trap, one that's too stupid to trap. He wants the food that's in their Phantom. He's like, I really want that sardine, but I don't know how to get in there. He's just too stupid. Lux is like, nope, I know exactly what that's about, and I ain't getting in there. So I've got one that's too smart to trap and one that's too stupid to trap. Don't know if we'll ever get them rehomed. They may just have to grow old with me. I've had a very stern talking to Ember Sue, the old thug kitty mama cat, that since we had Spade, she started trafficking in kittens. And I told her, don't you bring any more home this year. I am not the foster parent. I will tan your hide. She doesn't believe me. She just walks away. So I'm hoping I don't. I'm hoping she's getting too old to want to bring more babies home. Ever since we had her fixed, she brings home. I hope they're orphan kittens. Otherwise, I have a kitten trafficker, and I feel like I should like turn her over to like the federal cat authorities or something. But I wanted to get on here and share something with you because we've all been hearing all the bad news, bad news, bad news, bad news, bad news, bad news. Trains, trains, trains can't stay on the rails anymore. Woohoo! My papa was an engineer, and he took his job so serious. His house is full of trained paintings, acrylic and oil paintings, documentation of the railroads he worked for, the railroad pension that he died. That and he died when I was 10 months old. He had brain cancer and passed away. My granny is now 93, still alive, and that railroad pension is still paying her good money, better than what most people get these days. I mean, the railroads used to be something, y'all. They used to be something. It used to be a good dadgum job and a good like brotherhood of men. Used to be great. And so to watch the railroad and the infrastructure in America go, I hope y'all really loved my sound effects there. Um, it's kind of disconcerting for me as a daughter of someone who watched people build the infrastructure and create and push the infrastructure. So my papa was on the railroad. My dad drilled oil wells. He even actually went to Saudi Arabia and drilled oil wells. My uncle was in the Air Force. I mean, we had a family of people that went and did things. We had farmers and teachers, and then we had the people that went on the railways and that did barge work and did the lumber down the river work and stuff like that. We had really aggressive family members that did hard jobs well. And now all it seems that people are capable of doing is swiping left or right or up or down on a flat screen. And I say that giggling, but honestly, it's the truth. And if you go down and watch gorillas and chimpanzees in zoo exhibits, they will mimic the people and stare at their hands. And yet humans think that the gorillas and chimps are stupid. But the gorillas and chimps really know. Well, you're just staring at your hand 24/7. Anyway, I got the biggest kick out of that. I just thought that was funny. Oh, hi, Denise. It's good to see you on here. But I wanted to share funny. And it's a borderline mature funny. But I have been inundated with a bill collector this week, and it's for the hospital bill from David's first kidney stone, which I have paid when they settled. We put it on a payment plan, and I have routinely every month paid $8.50 above what is due because I like to round up. I'm one of those people that like round numbers. One of those. So I've paid every month, and I've paid more than I should have paid. So don't call me and tell me you want more money, because number one, you're going to make me mad. Number two, I'm going to tell you this is harassment by law. Number three, if you didn't say you're going to sell me to collections, I'm going to say good. Take me to court. Show the judge just how sorry you are. I am a belligerent person. I know my rights, and I know the limits that creditors are allowed to take, and I know what they can't do, and I know it's illegal, and so I like to play with their little brains. And something, you should also educate yourself and enjoy this fun. If you have a medical bill, there's not really a whole lot they can do with medical bills as long as you're making payments. There's not a lot they can do. But this guy wanted to call and say, "Oh well, they put you in collections." Well, hey there, Bubba, I ain't got nothing to tell me they put me in collections because I've been paying a bill every month. Well, they put you in collections, and I wanted to collect a bill. Nope, no can do, because I just paid a bill in their portal to their hospital the other day, and I can't by law pay to their portal and to a collections agency at the same time, because you should know that's illegal. And I have no contract change notification via mail. I don't know who you are, but I think you're probably not kosher. And so he hung up really quick. And then there was a lady call back, and she was a little bit more irritable. Okay, we females, we're a little bit more irritable. It's like one of my favorite traits of women is that when you really tick us off, we sink down into like this extra low crawl creep hate mode, and it's a really good one. So she thought she was going to get the better of me. So I am twanging up a storm as soon as I answer the phone, because I have every inkling that it's either a telemarketer or a debt collector, because David's the hospital is trying to be a butthole right now. And that's the only debt we have. Oh, it's so frustrating. Or I'm just really special. I don't know. Right now, I think I'm just really special and they want to talk to me. But I'm twanging it up. And I'm like, "Hello, howdy do. You took time to call me. Well, bless your sweet bippy honey, you're kind to call me. I don't have anybody visit me these days. I'm just poorly. I just stay sick and nobody comes to see me except for that nurse. And then she comes to see me and she has to poke every finger and then give me an injection. And I don't mind seeing her, leave. I've enjoyed the visit, but I hate to see her roll up because I know it's going to cause me some pain. But, now I'll talk to you, honey. You ain't going to cause me no pain. Now, she thinks I'm stupid, and I'm playing this game because, number one, I'm from Podunkville, Appalachia. Number two, it's fun to play with people's minds. Number three, I got nothing better to do. I'm sick at home. And number four, you think I'm going to give you money. I'm not. So then she thinks she's gotten me, like, in this very caretakerly, motherly way, talked into making an extra payment this month. No. And I said, honey, I sure would give you my money, but I just gave my very last dollar to somebody that said he needed it worse than anybody else and that it was crucial to the world that I give him my very last dollar. She said, honey, who in the world would you give your very last dollar to? And I said, well, I don't know him very well, ma'am. But he bobbles when he walks, okay? And he can't talk straight. He's not very plain spoken. Sometimes you can't understand him. But he said he needed this money and it had to go somewhere real important. Like it was so important to like the world. It was going to change the world, and I just, even though I didn't feel led in the spirit, I thought, well, I better give this man my last few bucks, and everybody else has told me, he'll do good things with it. He'll do good things with it. And I thought, well, I don't rightly know him. He's not really a man of our area, but I thought, might as well, I'll take a chance on him. And she's like, why would you send a stranger, give a stranger money? Was it like a traveling book salesman? Or no, he wasn't selling nothing, although I have seen him eat ice cream several times. I reckon he buys a lot of ice cream. But he gives all this money to somebody that wears these hoodies somewhere over there in this place that's like way over there toward Poland somewhere. I can't say its name, honey. I'm not educated like you people, but they say don't worry, it's going to do great things, and that I will get my money back, if not from him, from his son. They said his son is good for the money. But now, honey, between you and me, I heard he still owes some little Russian whore 10K. So I don't think I'm going to get my money back. So I don't think I can make an extra payment. She caught on to it at about the very end and hung up. And this was like after a 47-minute conversation. I've never had so much fun in my life. Oh, so now, if you all have debt collectors, just tell them that you can't, that you've given your money to, this toddly old man that likes to eat ice cream because he's going to save the world, and if he's not good to give it back, his son is just as soon as he pays off his whore bill. Oh, Lord have mercy. I had the best time. That was probably, I know. I tell my husband I do these things. He's like, why would you do that? I was like, listen, I am disabled. I sit here. I have to answer every phone call, and I have to deal with every one of these people, and they're not very nice to me. So if I can take it in turn and just not be very nice to them, it's a fair trade. I just couldn't help myself. You get me telling a yarn, and I'm going to tell a good one. So, but I could not believe like I had her stringing along for so long, like she didn't put it together. It was a long conversation. So I just hope that, at the end of the day when she went home, the next time she called somebody the next morning, she put a little bit more thought in how she presented herself. Yeah, you'll have to use that one. I used to, sometimes if I'm not able to get to the phone, if I hear it ring and I'm in bed, I'm like, well, I'm not answering it because by the time I hobble there, if you'll have given up. But if I do answer it and it's somebody that's being hateful, I just normally get hateful right back. But I am not a very nice person if you go outside of the letter of the law with me. And because I am very legal minded because of the careers I've had. I know when people are blowing smoke, and so the debt collectors do not like me. Like they do not like me at all. And so after like the third conversation with the male one, I was like, listen, let's make a deal. Let's say that David can spend 3 days in custody once a year, and y'all will take 3 months payments off of our bill every year. So one day is 1 month's payment, and he'll serve that. And they're like, why would you want to do that? I said, because he averages 1 kidney stone every year. It takes about 3 days to pass it. And if we can make it those 3 days where he's in custody, then y'all can cover his medical expenses and then send him back home to me. And we'll never, ever, ever have another medical bill. And you won't ever have to deal with me. And we can all cut and make this good. And they're like, you would let your husband go to jail? And I'm like, listen, I know a lot of people in jail. Listen, I can pay a commissary bill. He can be dealt into the next hand of poker. He'll have a nice sleep on a nice cot, which is probably better than our bed. And I bet you I know 97% of the people that's still in there, and they'll take good care of my husband for me, make sure nobody beats him up. And they're like, ma'am, you're not right. Hey, I'm not the person calling people trying to get more money when they're paying their bills. I think I'm dead set serious. I'm good. I think you're the crazy one. But I have been playing with people's minds this week. I have been brave enough to answer the phone. So now, since David had the other kidney stone, which is now in his bladder, yay, yay, it passed his bladder. Um, we we have not had it appear otherwise, but it's in the bladder. It passed to the bladder, so yay, he's not hurting anymore. The man went to work 2 days waiting for it. He went to work Monday and Tuesday. Sunday he was still in quite a bit of pain. But he went to work Monday and Tuesday, and sometime Monday night, it must have gone to the bladder because he came home and Tuesday was a normal day for him. So we're great. It's in his bladder. Yay. No idea what this hospital is going to bill. At this point, all I can do is laugh. Um, you know, I'm watching trains run off tracks. The EPA's not cleaning nothing up. Nobody's being held responsible. Our president's, just globetrotting with $500 million everywhere, and his son can do anything felonious and get away with it. But by golly, my husband passes a kidney stone, and they put their thumb on my head for just a few grand. I don't know if I should feel special or like I need to go see a proctologist to have the government removed from my anus. I'm in between those two places right now. That's where I am. I'm having a hard time if I'm special or they're really far up there. I don't know. So that's where I am in life right now. But, all you can do is take it and go on. And, there'll be a lesson in it somewhere. Probably a painful one. And probably one I'll have to learn again at some point. But that's okay. I'm a repetitive learner. It'll be okay. But the prime objective of this is life's stupid. Nobody cares about anything that matters. They don't call and check on you and wish you a happy life and make you smile when you're here. But by golly, they want your pennies, nickels, and dimes. And you just have to laugh at things like that. You just have to go, really, that is your like most important thing. That's seriously okay. You live that life. That's great. I'll pray for you. So I kind of get a jolt out of this because and I even laugh at them. They're like, "You owe us, we're almost into the $3,000 range from the 6,500 one. I'm so proud of me. I really, really am." But they was telling me like to the dollar amount, and I was like, "Well, wait, Joe Biden's killing the American dollar. Don't worry, by next year to be double that." I just try to have fun with it because I'm going to pay my bill, but I'm going to pay it the most painful way possible for you. I'm just going to make you have to earn it. I'm going to make you have to work for it. Now, I will say I've met a couple of really sweet ladies in the bill collector and hospital agency. And if they were loud, we would totally be on each other's Christmas card list because they enjoy my banter and they banter back. And I just love it. But, yeah, I just thought it was weird. And I also wanted to tell you something that I'm checking into. As of 2022, January 1st, 2022, a lot of states became a No Surprise Act and a No Balance Billing Act state, which means that whatever your insurance pays, they can't turn around and bill you the whole remaining balance. They have to go by a percentage code that is dictated by state, and they can't surprise bill you with extra stuff later, like oh the ER, and then the radiologist, and then no, they have to have it all done. They can't surprise bill you. So a lot of states pick these up. I think there's 22 states in all. You need to check and make sure if your state is one of them. It's called the No Surprise Act and the No Balance Billing Act. Check it out. And if you think you're being taken advantage of, there are free legal counsel you can contact to see if they are billing erroneously and possibly feloniously. I am in the process of checking into both of these local hospitals because they are rural hospitals. They think people here are largely uneducated, do not know their law, do not know their rights, and I'm going to make sure that they're doing everything correctly. So you bet your sweet Bippy, I'm checking into all of this. But that is something that is not well known. It is not well advertised. When they do things to protect citizens, they don't tell us. We have to go look and find it, which I think should be like somebody needs to be kicked in the butt for that. Like if you make a law that's going to help us, you should like fly a plane across the earth that has a banner that tells us all. You know, like give us a useful China spy balloon and put a message on it. You have rights. So if you all are struggling like we are with the medical stuff because of really sorry insurance that you have to bleed out the nose for, there's two more things that can help protect you. So No Surprise Act and the No Balance Billing Act. I think 22 or more states have picked it up since the January of 2022. Some states even previous to that. So check that out. If you have a medical bill that you're paying for that you don't understand the charges and you think it was erroneously or criminally created, you can actually Google this, find help, get free help to check out and make sure that the hospitals are billing correctly. So I'm in the process of doing that. So when I find something that helps y'all, I want to pass it along because every day I squeak. Okay, that's how poor we are. We squeak every day. I think I squeak beautifully. I think I've gotten like so comfortable with like being so near catastrophe that it's like I should like have my own sitcom and reality show just to show people just how close you can live to absolute collapse and still love your life. I think it'd be a big hit, especially with what a lot of people are going through these days. But I read a lot, and so when I found these things, I wanted to let you all know of them as well. Um, so yeah, that's where I am. I've had fun with the bill collectors, and my hip's doing better. It's just my left socket is still slightly inflamed. So as soon as I'm okay to sit on my hard kitchen chairs and do a crafting moment, we're gonna have another crafting live. But my doctor was like, give it another couple of days, please. And he's like, there's still some inflammation. And he's taking very good care of me. They're being very picky. And they actually called and checked on David the other day too, which was really sweet. And I think they do that because they know I'm very vocal and I'm very vocal with them and they get to know us and they care. When people get to know you, when you're loud and obnoxious and they're forced to get to know you, they actually do care. They called to check on David and he's like, it must be in my bladder because I'm not hurting anymore. And he's like, but I have seen no sign of it yet. So um, I'm gonna throw a party when that little sucker passes. But it is the kidney stone is in his bladder, so he's not hurting anymore. We're just watching him for any sign of infection because it's stayed there for so many days, and that we know from past experiences sometimes that can lead to an infection to set up. So we're just watching him really close. But the man goes to work every day. He doesn't know how to not work, and he doesn't know how to be still. He doesn't know how to chill, and he's already just a few spring days that feel like spring. That's false spring, but that make him get that desire to start cleaning up what has fallen during the winter. We've got so much limbs down from the storms, the windstorms and stuff that come through. We've got to bush hog the barn lot because nobody bush hogged it last year. We've got a bunch of cleanup to do over there where we used to have all the ricks of wood piled up that he cut. We've got a lot to do, and he's already kind of got the spring bug in him to get it cleaned up. And we're also going to be having our log cabin siding stained again this year because it has to be stained because the hailstorms last year beat the stain off. It looked like my house looks like it has freckles because the hailstones were so big and they beat the stain out of my log cabin siding. So we've got to get it stained again, and we've got stuff that we have to do. And he's already got the momentum to start and getting all that done. And when you own property, it's just a every year cleanup. But he'll do like 95% of the work. But I swept the porch the other day, and I really, really, honestly think I deserved a party because that was the most I had done in so long, and it was really dirty. I had to clean a bunch of stuff, throw some stuff away. Like the cats had ruined my rugs where they had pricked their claws on it. Had to throw my rugs away, um, and had to do just a bunch of cleanup. And I got like 2/3 of my porch clean, and I got like fake vines in some of my planters because I can't keep anything alive on my front porch unless it's ferns. It's too shady. And a little neighbor lady paints those porch signs that say welcome and funny things. And I had saved a board, but I had for the life of me not been able to compel myself to paint it and stencil out the calligraphy letters to say. I was going to say nope or go on down the road or something like that. But she made this really cute one that says welcome. And in the middle, it's got a goat's face kind of looking at you like, what you looking at? Um, and I fell in love with it. And she loves to do this stuff, so she sold it to me for $10. So I got the cutest little welcome stand up porch sign for $10. I probably shouldn't have spent $10, but I did, and it was the goat face that did it. But I thought it was the cutest little thing. And so half of my porch is clean, and I have a pretty little goat sign. And my nurses and my physical therapist have been like, "Hey, you must have got rid of most of the cats," and I'm like, "Yep." We have rehomed all but two that still need homes, and then Ember will be with us because Ember is the only cat that we actually own. All the rest were implants. So, it's been a month, and I feel like I lived 2 years in this last month. February and March are always hard months for me because of the winter, and the world is not helping anything. I see Fang on here. Let me see if I can see what Fang's saying. Squeaky lifestyle, yeah. Squeak masters. Everybody's going to be the bare minimum here soon, and we're all going to start to love each other again because we're all going to realize how stupid it was to chase money and put money and power above love, humanity, society, and other people. That's where the power, energy, and everything is to correct all of humanity. It's in linking together with each other and loving each other. And I hate to tell America, but America is going to falter and keep faltering until it gets on its knees and gets right with God. And America is going to keep suffering until we stop lying and telling lies to others and letting falsehoods be seen as truths and hiding the truths and saying they're falsehoods. America is, I tell you what, America, if you went to my granny's house, she'd done cut a switch and busted your butt. That's the shape America's in. And my granny was one of those people, she'd make you go and cut your own switch. And if you brought back a wispy one that wouldn't work, you had to go get another. And then you had to bring back one that time that would hurt. So you had to make a healthy decision the first time. I got taught how to make good decisions by my granny. Because you do something right the first time, otherwise you're going to do it twice and it's going to hurt twice as bad. So, but America is struggling right now. So, but I wanted to pop in and tell you my funny, give you something to laugh at, and maybe give you, if you're having to handle somebody that wants to call and try to swipe money from you after you've done paid all your bills, you can use that same funny byline on them. Now, listen, tell me if you use it, tell me if they grasp onto it sooner than my lady did because she didn't get it till the very end. But it was hilarious. I mean, she didn't even wait for me to finish my sentence. She just hung up when she realized what I was talking about. It was worth the 47 minutes of my life. Probably the best 47 minutes I've spent in probably 2 or 3 months. Just to absolutely get it out of my system and irritate somebody and get to use Biden and everybody else in it. But feel free to use my story if you need to confuse any bill collectors. Go right ahead. But that's where I am. And as soon as I am okay to sit without, I have to be able to sit for a half hour without the soreness in my left hip socket. And I'm getting very, very close. My physical therapist is working really hard because they know I want to get back to my crafting. I've got stuff I've got to get done. David has a March 31st vendor sale, and I've got like 15 things halfway done from earlier this winter that I've got to get finished. So I'm trying to get a bunch of stuff done. David also just donated another beaver hoop and my huge dream catcher that I made was like 3 foot across. We donated it to auctions in Scott County to raise money for families that are struggling. Um, and we did that because it was a lady that I used to work with in the court in the circuit court clerk's office. So Renee, if you visit here, hi Renee. We did that for them, and they've always been super great people. They have super great funds. They help all these families. They do all these great things. So David, my husband, will not bat an eye at giving something away to help somebody else. So we gave those two things. We're hoping it brings some good money to help a family or two. And then we start the vendor sale later this month. And a huge thanks again to Sly for purchasing that quilt that I had on Etsy, well, that David had on Etsy. Every once in a while, if I want to part with something, I give it to David to let it put it on Etsy because I do have quite the craft bill. My husband does, he does keep me crafting because it's what I need to stay sane. But that quilt sale actually helped pay off my Jeep note because we were that close. So thank you. That helped so much. That's going to free up some cash so that we can keep taking care of these medical bills. Um, if David keeps making gravel, We'll just see how many medical bills we can get. We'll just turn it into a game. But at this point, you just gotta laugh at things. You just gotta laugh at things. Oh well, hello. I'm glad you popped in. So everybody knows I'm good. I'm kicking. We're very close to getting back to the lives. I had hoped to be able to start a couple nights ago, but I've still got some soreness, and my physical therapist likes to absolutely turn me into a pretzel when they're here. And if I have soreness, they're like, don't do it. I don't want to re-bruise the bone because that will allow the infection to travel. So I'm being very, very careful. Um, but we're almost there. I actually have bought pads and covers to go on the 2 chairs that I sit in, so that I will have more of a cushion and I will not be hurting myself as much. So we're about to get back to the craftings, and I have a possum clutch that I'm going to make. I have a raccoon messenger bag that I'm going to make. I've got to finish up my cow horn rattle, and I have another cow horn drying so I can detach the external um, bone from the internal keratin. Um, and I actually did sit down the other day and made a couple of jewelry items. I've got one pair of earrings halfway done, and then I did a pair of coyote tooth molar in the filigree basin with a leather back, the really pretty ones with the Tibetan silver that I ordered. And I did put one pair of those on David's Etsy store to thank him for keeping me sane, and like he's bought me so much twine. I have got like 5 unfinished dream catchers that I've woven while I've been stuck in bed and stuck on the couch. So lots of stuff coming down the pipeline because I've been crafting and I can't keep it all. So I'm going to send a lot of it with David so that I can repay him for all my craft items and he can buy me more. I did get the confirmation that the discoloration in my fingers are it's a very funky kind of arthritis. Um, and I just got the first confirmation of it today, so I don't know a lot about it. Gonna have to do a little bit more research, but The patterning and the skin issues and the last flare, the specialist or the doctors confirmed it. I'm getting knots on my thumb knuckles and my index finger knuckles and my ring finger knuckles now, and they're growing at a rate that's kind of scary. And it is this weird arthritis. So that's something else we're going to have to work on, but everything's still usable, so I'm not going to fuss about it that much. So take it a day at a time. All right, I think you're all caught up on me. Hey, that was like 35 minutes. That's the shortest in ever. So give me a couple more days. Surely, at least by the start of next week, possibly this weekend or the start of next week, we can get back to crafting. And I'm going to go ahead and prep some of the leather punching and some of the stuff that is harder to do while I'm trying to talk to y'all on screen. I'm going to try to get some of that done so that the first few lives go a little bit quicker for y'all so that you can see some finished products. Because I know y'all have been bored without me and without my really weird fur animal skull bone native stuff. So we'll get back to freaking people out as quickly as possible. Until then, use my funnies. Tell my funny story to your next debt collector. Laugh every day. And you know something? It's just money. You know, I don't even get to dictate its worth at this point. Some stupid man does. And I just gotta laugh at people that bill me. You know, you're billing me a piece of paper that somebody can change the worth of in 5 seconds flat, and I just think that's hilarious because I know what is actually worthwhile in this world. So, hey, if it's money for you, that's fine. You know, I'll make money and send it to you. But we need to be praying everybody gets on a better bandwagon and we get the focus of this nation shifted back to a better one. Oh, good. Make some signs. You need to share. You need to share pictures when you make your signs. I want to see them. Start sipping moonshine. Start. You know where I live. you put the you put the wrong word. It should be continue. Yeah, I feel lost without my craft too. I just I don't sit still well, and I like to feel useful. And since I'm not working, I craft, and it keeps my fingers going. And I guess that's the greatest thing that I could have been doing these last few years because it has slowed down this arthritis. So my doctor is very adamant I continue weaving and doing all my arts and crafts because it is slowing down the advancement of the arthritis and it keeps them limber. So I'll keep going as long as as long as I can. And then when I have a problem, surely they'll be able to shave some bone off or something, patch me up, and keep me going for a few more years. So we'll get back at it next week. But I'm in good spirits. I'm feeling better. I'm not upset like I was the other night. I just, I have really realistic expectations, but when it takes an ambulance an hour and 13, it was like an hour 15 minutes to get to a house 4 miles away, you should be upset. There are legitimate things in life that you need to be upset about. And there are times to be upset and there are times to be happy. I try to be happy more than I'm upset. But I do have those days, and it's very important for me to show you all that I go through those days, and you still have to dig yourself out of them and keep moving forward. David is really upset because he's like, I created another burden for us. I'm like, heck, we've been married for 20 years. How many burdens have we gotten through? At this point, it's just like a little basket of burdens, and it's just kind of like life is just a little basket of burdens. Who cares? But he feels really, really bad about the problem with his kidney stones because we have not had this problem in so many years. We thought we had worked through this and gotten his diet to where he was not going to have this problem anymore. I think a lot of it is where his Lyme and Rocky Mountain spotted fever has been flaring up and altering his body composition, the way he's using his minerals again. So I'm looking into some holistic approaches to maintain and make sure that the minerals don't deposit in that small ureter the way that I think they're doing now. I don't think his body is using minerals as appropriately as and efficiently as it used to. So I think they're collecting. So we're going to try some other stuff and try to help him not have these problems because he's in so much pain. I don't care how much it costs. When he's in that much pain and he's turning slate gray and green, and my husband who never says ouch at anything, when he hits his knees and turns green and slate gray, I'm going to call the ambulance and I'm going to get him whatever help he needs because that's just who I am. I don't care how much money it costs. That's not even on my mind. Unfortunately, he is a person that's on his mind. Um, but I'm never not going. I don't care. I don't even if we didn't have insurance, I would still call the ambulance. It would just take us longer to pay it off. I don't care. But he is one of those dearly stoic men that just hates to create what he thinks is issues. And I keep telling him that's just life. Life is just lessons and burdens and learning and sometimes celebrations. But, it seems like we're getting more of the burdens and learning right now. But it's okay. It will even out eventually. And we just have to remember that. But something, there are days that you just need to get on. You just need to get online and complain. you just need to do it. It's healthy. Get out of your system. Have your moment. Don't have a come apart, but have a firm talking to and state your business and go on with it. And I've had 3 people from the ambulance department apologize to me. And I said, I don't want to hear apologies. I want to see a very small bill. So I will let you know how that works out. Um, but I don't know what they're going to do with the time lapse that it took to come get him. I don't know. Um, Unfortunately, with the storms we had and the roads had been blocked, and with my issues, it was just not safe for me to attempt to drive him, especially at night with my eyesight. And that had been the first time I would have used my legs and my pelvis. And I was just not sure about my reaction time at night after storms when we know we had trees down and electrical lines down and half the county still had no power. It was just too much. And of course, that would be the night he would have a kidney stone. I bet you everybody's nanny goats laid down and had the last of the babies too the other night. But it's just one of those things that happens, and you just gotta, I'll have a bad day, and I'll fuss about it and gripe about it because I'm not gonna bottle it up. I'm gonna let it out. But I will come back around and shake it off and get through it, work through it. Now I may still hold a grudge, and I may still handle those debt collectors and be a little janky with them when they call. Um, but I'm not gonna let that ruin the happiness that's coming with spring and everything else. We have got so little, honestly, that is going right for humanity. If we have a day where we're happy, we need to be happy and make sure that we make somebody else happy and that we exponentially just exploit the crap out of that happiness because humanity is, I mean, like G-force suckage right now. So go and be good to somebody. If David, if he's tried to drink beer to keep his kidneys flushed, but he can't. He's just not an alcohol or beer drinker. He's just not. So we're going to be trying what is it? Hydroxycitrate. I think that's what it is. I ordered it the other day. Talked to the herb store old woman and to a pharmacist, and they both recommended it. And so we're going to try it. It should not allow the stuff to build up in that ureter system anymore. So we should see a definite improvement. We just have to be careful because of his Lyme disease and Rocky Mountain spotted fever. And honestly, as much as he's logged, cleared wood, lived in the back country, and been a country boy, everybody, like I would say probably 90% of people that live here have one or the other. And a lot of people have both. And it is just, it's something that when you live in the woods and in nature, it's just prevalent here. And but with his jobs and his years of logging and stuff, it's just something that you can't really, no matter how hard you try. For Rocky Mountain spotted fever, they don't even have to bite you; they just have to crawl across you. That's how easy it is to get these things. And then of course I'm lucky all my time in taxidermy and stuff like that, and with the hunting lodges and hunting, that I don't have one or the other. I'm fortunate because I've probably been in the woods just as much as David has. So, but we just have to watch that very carefully and make sure that, we're not going to hinder that while we're helping the other. It's a very precarious balance. So toss up some prayers for him, because he feels so bad. Oh, we've done the cranberry juice, we've done the cherry juice. He's currently drinking pineapple juice. Um, we have done the medicines that are a few $100s just to the crappy beers that are supposed to be the best. We've seen, I don't know how many urologists, because back in the day this was like a 5 year problem where we had multiple hospitalizations and about went into two surgeries because of them. So this was a huge issue, and we finally got his diet balanced. And it seems like the only thing that changed is the Lyme and the Rocky Mountain Spotted Fever, and it has just addled his body down some way where it's having problems there again. So I'm trying to work with our little herbalist dude at the herb store and the pharmacist to see what will go with um, this issue most naturally without like messing up the other stuff that he's got. Because every once in a while with his Lyme, he has to take certain antibiotics. So we don't want to take anything that's going to mess up that. And so I'm getting a lot of good feedback from them, but it's just, you have to research and then research some more and then research again. But we will find a healthy medium again. It's just, we're getting old, people. We look at each other and go, when did this happen? I don't remember getting this old, but we're getting old. And, as you get older, it's like maintaining a car. The older the car gets, the more maintenance it takes, and the harder it is to keep it going. So at this point, I told him, I said, you need a new fuel line. He did not think that was funny. I thought it was hysterical. But he is struggling because he's like, I've created another financial burden for us. But I'm like, honey, listen, Putin's fixing to push the red button. What do we care about dollar bills? Don't mean nothing. Joe Biden gives them all to Ukraine. Why do we care? So he doesn't like it, it makes him smile when I say stuff like that, but he still carries that burden. And I'm concerned about paying bills too. We don't like to have a lot of debt. But I also, when I look at debt that is created by man that is, you know, jacked up, 400 times what it should be, I just have to look and go, I'm poor and you'll get what I can pay as I can pay it. And there are safeties in place for medical bills, and there are things that collection agencies and medical collectors cannot do to you legally by law. And you just have to know your rights. And I know mine, and I like to play with their heads every once in a while. And yes, I'm a sarcastic, nasty little person sometimes. I think it's one of my best traits. But I had fun with this lady the other day. So, but we'll get through it. We will get through it. Try the. Oh my gosh. Okay. I have never even heard of that because we live in a dry county. But the next time that we travel to the neighboring county, I will look for that thing. Thank you. Um, and we're just not alcohol drinkers, y'all. We're just. Can you imagine me? I don't need alcohol. I don't need any help at all. I'm crazy enough on my own. We live in a place where everybody keeps a mason jar in the cabinet for medicinal purposes, and that's all you need. Um, So, we just never have been alcohol. By the time I was 21, I had two kids and a mortgage. I did not have time. I did not have time to get into trouble. I was an adult before I, could blink my eyes. So, but I'll have him look at that because it is the taste of the beer that throws him off. He hates it. So the next time that we actually go to a neighboring county, I will absolutely, I'm going to screenshot that right now. Okay, I screenshot it. I'm gonna look for that the next time we go to the neighboring county. Well, hey, we'll try it. Well, we're game to try anything. Hi, third eye. Oh no, we don't have the what is they call the ODDC or something other. No, sadly, we're just above the pay limit to where we have to have private everything. That's why we spend so much money. Like, oh my gosh, my insurances together, um, basically take all of my retirement, and then David's. It's the only insurance offered at the factory, and it sucks. And we've checked on getting a supplemental for him, and it was going to be like $600 more a month. Well, I can't with it. We won't have any money to live on then. But we pay between, depending on my medications and my pancreas and my bowels, between $1,000 and $1,300 a month, and medical stuff every month between health premiums, co-pays, deductibles, all and medications. And it's just like, if y'all knew how poor we were, you'd be like, how in the crap do you survive? We squeak. We squeak. We have nothing in this house that is not useful. Anything that I want, I make, or I get secondhand, or I just don't find. I don't get it. I want it, put it on my wish list, but I may never have it. The only reason we have a decent vehicle is because every doctor we have to go to, that I, as a specialist for me, I have to travel 2.5, 3 miles for, or 2.5, 3 hours for. So I had to have a good vehicle. Well, luckily I had the jobs when I was working to where I could afford a good vehicle because I drove so much. And luckily now it's paid off. That was the last one I bought. I bought it because I was doing a 3 county rotation with counseling, and if I had known how sick I was going to get, I probably wouldn't have bought it. I would have stayed with the one that would have been paid off a lot sooner. But I'm going to drive that thing till the wheels fall off. But that's just how we are. My husband drives a 1990 Tracker. It's a little tank. It's something he can fix in 5 minutes when it breaks down. Live in a house that he built, and we had a great electrician friend that signed off on all the wiring, and it's just, you live simple. And and that's why y'all think I'm so creative. No, I'm poor and bored. I'm not artistic and I'm not creative. I'm poor and bored. And if I want something, I have to make it. I was able to find rugs on sale through one of those stupid little apps that you get cheap stuff. I just so happened to have a girlfriend buy 'em, and they were really good rugs. And she said, you need to get some of these while they're on sale. And they were really good quality rugs. And so I spent $14 and bought me 2 rugs for my kitchen. And I feel like, you know, I was inducted into the royal family because I spent $14 on something that was not a necessity, but it sure looks pretty because they match my curtains. And I just feel plumb special. And then somebody gave me a jar of jelly last week, and I thought that was awful sweet of them until I realized they give me a wide mouth jar, and I have no wide mouth lids, so I'm gonna be passing that puppy off to somebody else. I love wide mouth jars in theory, but I don't ever keep the rings and the flats. So every time somebody hands me one, I'm like, you're useless. So I'm gonna be sending that one down the hill to Mama because she has wide mouth flats and rings. I do not. I'll trade one out with her. Um, but I felt like I was freaking king, queen. What I'm fixing to call myself king. Well, I guess I could. I guess in theory I can be whatever I want to be. But I thought I was the freaking Queen of England last week because I spent $14 on area rugs for my kitchen that matched my curtains because they're that black and white check. But and my curtains were like $7 a panel, and I only bought them because I knew that was way cheaper than the fabric that I would have had to have purchased to have made them. I scrimp. I make everything myself. Um, we're just that's just how we're made around here. You don't have something unless it's useful, and if it's not useful, you pass it on. And the only thing that I hoard are my quilts, because around here, if you make a quilt, you hang on to it. But I've even let a lot of those go, and I've still got a couple of non patches and some smaller ones that I may part with. I don't know. I've got some stored at Mom's that I need to go through that I may part with. I've been begging Mom. I've been telling her you need to sell some of your quilts. You've got 45 and hanging on your wall. You're running out of room, Mom. But that's the only thing I really make that's worth anything are my quilts, my dream catchers, and then if David has fur left over, I create little funny fur things. but it's all for my physical therapy for my hands, which I guess is with the diagnosis I got today is going to get really fun over the next few years. But it was like psoriatic arthritis or something. It was something like that. Um, he wrote it down. I'm gonna have to research it. It's actually two or three. I'm gonna have to research, and it's gonna be amplified by my RSD, so I'm gonna have issues. But I'm already getting big knots on certain knuckles and certain fingers, and so I'm gonna have to keep using my hands as much as possible. Honey, I can't spell anytime. Autocorrect hates me. Autocorrect wants to make me look so stupid every time. Every time I try to text something to anybody, especially Gypsy, autocorrect wants to make me look like an idiot. So I just kind of embrace it now and get a kick out of autocorrect and what it does. That's a good skill to take leftovers and to make something pretty. I mean, that's a good skill. If you've got a good eye to do that, it means you look at the world a little bit differently, and it's a good trait to have. Yeah, I guess I'm lucky that my mom gave me this horrible quilting habit. It does come in handy. It is something that people treasure, and it is something that almost always will sell. Now, granted, most of mine are non patches or off the fly abstract. I have all my really pretty patterned ones are pretty much gone now because the first few years, Mama pushed for me to learn the patterns. I hate patterns, and I would rather make an abstract or a non-patch or just a crazy quilt. And that drives my mother insane because my mother's a precise pattern person. And I am like, we'll just throw it together and see what it wants to be. And she's like, no, it needs to be this. Me and my mother are very separate quilters that way. We have to quilt at different tables when we're in the same room because we will drive each other nuts. It's hilarious. But all of hers are like, perfect corners, perfect seams, and I'm just like, Mom, you could have ran with this color a little loopy loopy over here, and it would have added something. And she's like, no, no, it made it not balanced. And I'm like, well, I think that's beautiful. She does not. So we drive each other nuts. But I'm trying to get her to part with some quilts and to start an Etsy store. Because she's got so many. She's quilted her whole life. She's 70 and she's quilted her whole life. And I'm like, Mother, do not think you're giving me 45 quilts because I got nowhere to put them. I will not be responsible for 45 quilts. I went to her house the other day for what she said a few of your grandma and great grandma's quilts that I needed to give you, thinking a few, two, three. I came home with 13. Okay, had to find another chest because I keep them in cedar chest. Had to find another chest, and I said, Mother, I will not be responsible for all these quilts in your basement. Don't even. So she better be doing something with them because I'm not going to be responsible for all them quilts. I do not have enough house to house the quilts. Her basement quilting and craft room is bigger than my house. So now she said that I'm going to get her a quilting machine, so I'll have to learn how to use that so that I can, instead of sending mine out to have the batting, backing, and binding put on, I can do all that myself now because I have that big machine that makes the shapes and you follow it and it has a little red dot. It makes me drunker than a skunk when I'll get used to it though. Um, and I'll be thankful to have that. That's great. I'll put it to good use. But I do not need 45 quilts. I already have way too many. I bet you I have probably 30 crammed in my house and more at mom's. So I don't need any more quilts. But I'm down to the ones that are like great grandma or parcels of fabric from great great grandma and great grandma. And then some that grandma made and then mom. And so I'm down to the ones that, have very few left that I really want to part with. I'm just about, down to the ones that will be gifted to the kids as they get more mature and, you know, they're heirloom. You send them on down the line. So, but my mother's got a basement full, and if I could get her to part with them, y'all would be so happy to see them. I mean, y'all would snatch them right up. She's a brilliant quilter. Denise, you laying a claim. I'm still working on blue jean donations for you, Denise. I have not forgot about that. I'm still working on blue jean donations. I'm still trying to get like relatively the same inseam length so I can strip long strips. But I saw that one the other day and thought I'd just see if it was just a pattern you might like. Denise cracks me up. She's already got a few that I've made. Um, this is where I have to use this stupid microphone thing that I have, and I hate it. I can't wait to get back to where I can sit up and do lives. But we'll be back to that in about, I don't know, probably by Monday, maybe possibly this weekend. David has missed y'all, but he has just been so busy with work. So we'll get back to it. Oh yeah, the God's eyes. You make? Are you talking about the ones you make with your arm, or are you talking about the quilt pattern? One of the prettiest quilt patterns that I love the most has the most atrocious name, and it's called the Coffin Star Quilt. That it doesn't really make people want to buy. And I made one when I was young. I made a Coffin Star Quilt, and it's you know all these little blocks that have these little um, diagonal diamonds that run in different. The colors go in different direction on every block, and it's called a coffin. I think it's Coffin Star Quilt. I always loved the pattern, hated the name. I have one. It's beautiful. It's in autumn colors, but I just and it's one that I keep thinking, oh, I could probably part with that. But then I think, who would buy a Coffin Star Quilt? I don't think that's a name that anyone's really going to want to purchase. It's the stupid microphone. It's cheap. I'm glad y'all are like giving tips on where to find stuff. Well, if I do part with one, that Coffin Star Quilt may be the next one. Oh, yarn, yeah, the God's Eye with yarn, yeah. Those were like a staple. Anytime you had little kids in the house, that was a staple. They hung in every window. I'm trying to learn how to make roses from the hymnal, the pages in the hymnals. Soak them, crinkle them, curl them, and make paper roses from the hymnal sheets in that old hymnal that I had that fell apart. So I'm trying to learn how to do that. Okay, I've been on way too long. I need to shut up. But it's been so good to catch up, and I've missed you all, but I've just had to focus on healing, focus on me. The world is going crazy. Don't go crazy with it. Remember that if somebody tries to make you feel a specific emotion, back away and say, why do you want me to feel that way? Especially if they want you to feel fear. Fear is never a good emotion to be stuck at. It puts you in your amygdala, and that puts you in fight or flight, and that puts you in a stress scenario, which makes your cortisol levels raise. And then you're always going to make the wrong decision because you're making it out of fear, and it's just a vicious cycle your body gets into. So if you're having a hard time watching all of this negativity, that's why when I put up the stories about bad stuff, I always do it with a humorous, the Green Acres. Um, because there is always a funny side to this. I mean, you just kind of have to look at the stupidity of man and laugh a little bit. But if you're watching the news and having one of those knee jerk reactions, stop watching the news. Find your friends, find your support system, talk it through with them, find a different way than to listen to somebody or something or a channel that tries to make you feel fear. Because this world is going to do what this world is going to do. And the one thing that we need to do is write it out with as much happiness as we possibly can. Because happiness is going to make every day go better. It's going to make every day seem better. It's going to help our families hold together longer. And it's going to help society longer as well. So just make sure that you're not, getting into your amygdala area and that fight or flight, and make sure that you're not falling for all of this nonsense. We all know the bad things are happening, but something for the rest of us that's stuck and read the end of the book. We all know how it ends. We're good. Just make sure that you're keeping a good, solid foundational touch, with your support system. Stay in touch with your support system and your good friends and the people that calm you down and make you take every day in stride. So that's the biggest thing I wanted to come in and absolutely just make you giggle for a minute and catch up, check in. I'm so glad you spent time with me. I miss you a lot. And maybe in a couple of days you'll get to see my face so I can sit back in my chair and do some crafts because I'm ready now. I've missed my glue gun. I haven't burnt myself in like 6 weeks. So get prepared, guys. It's going to happen. Y'all have a good evening. Thanks for spending time with me. I love you. And thank you so much for all your support and your prayers. I feel every little bit of energy sent to me. I feel it. And I'm sending it all back to you. I love you. I miss you. And we'll be back to regular momentum, hopefully beginning next week. All right. I'll talk to you later. Bye, guys.